Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa and welcome back to OverAnalzyed, or Pro OverAnalzyed. What we're going to do in this video is take a look at the LA Gladiators versus the London Spitfire. This is actually a really huge series and it results in quite a heavy upset. But let's get stuck into this because I want to explain what actually happened here, because this is some brilliant play off the LA Gladiators and some, well, quite bad play off London Spitfire. Let's take a look at this. So I'm going to use a different system here as well to do this. I'm going to use my webcam and all of that shenanigans. Right, let's take a look first at the teams, because what we've got here is a London Spitfire team, which is not the usual London Spitfire team. Now, in case you guys don't know, London Spitfire is two teams. It's Kongdu Panthera and it's GC Busan. And they kind of swap these rosters in and out and use them independently. The Kongdu Panthera roster with Profit and Gesture, who are from GC Busan, is undoubtedly the strongest roster. However, what I want to say right now is because I've seen people going, oh, the only reason LA Gladiators have won this is because London sent out a weaker team. While that may be true on paper, I don't agree with that, because what I think's actually happened is London, because it's got so many players, have decided that this team are going to prepare for this team. So in essence, this team should be able to just dismantle LA Gladiators because they can't do what London can do. However, that does not happen in this series. So let's take a look at why this is the case. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to play this so we can just see this rolling through while I explain what's going on with the team comps, because look at London's team comp here. This team comp is very much a, we're going to set up in a position and we want you to dive us, right? The moment you dive us, we are going to rub our big fat bellies. We're going to start laughing. We're going to go, ha, 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 ha. Silly people. They've dived us. Now we kill them. So that's what should happen. Now watch what LA Gladiators do. They're just moving around. Look at the point. Look at what's going on here. Look at this. This is beautiful, right? You can tell I'm about to pause when I do this, can't you? But anyway, this is cool. What's about to happen here? What's about to happen? Look at this. Let's play it a little bit more. Right, we get a better camera angle here. This, right, is exactly what London want you to do. They want you to dive in, all crazy, and just get killed. Because look at what London have got. They have got an Orisa barrier. Maybe not in the best place, but they've still got an Orisa barrier. London are all in this area. This is great. They have a Junkrat. They have a McCree. These heroes want you to come after them. Also an Orisa as well. She wants you to come after them because she's going to wreck you, right? That's what they want. Look at LA Gladiators. They just decide to, well, jump in. There's Fisher. You could argue wildly out of position. So the easy answer here for London is just to kill Fisher. Well, let's take a look at what happens, because it's quite interesting. So Asher kills Hagopen. Then Fisher kills Closer. Huyao gets a DMAC on Bishu, but Hydration kills Gesture. Somehow, London have lost that fight. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, they should not have lost that. The only reason they lost that comes down to, well, people whiffing shots. Maybe Hureg, who's been a very iffy player for London, has whiffed a ton of shots there, and it's caused a problem. Maybe there wasn't great defense matrix off Huyao. Maybe Gesture's Orisa barrier wasn't great. Anyway, look at the instant reaction from London. London have been notorious for not reacting very fast in the past. However, they've reacted straight away here. They've swapped their tank out. They've gone straight to dive with McCree and Junkrat. So I guess kind of not dive, but they swapped the main tank out, right? Problem is, look at what LA Gladiators are doing. They are playing pure, raw dive, and they are just destroying London. Now, there's a big problem now. Look at the problem. LA Gladiators have won the next fight. The reason for this is dead simple. Look at this. This is a big blade, right? There is no counter. Like, Hagopen needs to get his Transcendence. He does not have that. He cannot counter this. So all LA Gladiators are going to do is engage with the blade. They don't know that he doesn't have Transcendence, but they've killed him twice, so they probably suspect he might be close, but they just don't care anyway. They're just going to go in. They do invest 2 ultimates into this, though. Look at what they've done. They've dropped Hydration's Dragon Blade, and they've invested Transcendence. Profit goes huge with a big Riptire, but none of it really matters because the people left on London's team cannot contest the point. They can just mess around and they can just sort of, you know, try not to die, but they need Gesture back because Gesture died in the fight. So Huyao goes onto the point to start contesting it. Gesture comes back. This is where we get a little bit of a change of, I guess, fortunes, you could say. So let's just pause this here, because what happens now off Asher is completely beautiful. But what's happening here is London is slowly taking back this point. They get the kill on Hydration with Hureg. First time in this map that Hureg has actually managed to shut down Hydration, which is huge. But look what happens here. Like, that is a peach. That is an absolute peach of a pulse bomb. Kills Closer, kills Hureg. DPS is gone. Main support is gone. What now? You just push forward and win. It's so easy now. You just push forward and win. So London have completely whiffed this. They had a few opportunities where they should not have lost this, but they just totally whiffed it. LA Gladiators rolled up with pure dive into a comp which is designed to shut down dive and just wreck London. Why? Right? Why? Huge plays, that's why, because LA Gladiators are playing out of their goddamn minds. Like, woo, they don't care. Let's go full screen while we just run through the rest of this in the background. So that is huge. Like, that is absolutely huge play of LA Gladiators. I can't stress how that is not huge, right? They have really outplayed London there when London was set up to beat them with their tactics, but they didn't. That is a massive, massive, massive thing to do. Right, let's take a look at the next point, which I do believe is gardens. Now, London, like, the argument for London is, why didn't you just send out your best team? Like, why didn't you just send out the best players all of the time? Like, this is like kind of the argument I have with London sometimes. When you look at New York and you look at Seoul, predominantly they just send the best teams out, especially New York, and they just win, 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 win. I think London, with its primary roster, which, I don't mean any disrespect to Hureg or Huyal or Closer or Hagopen, but I mean, Bedosin should be there, yeah? I mean, Closer, I think Closer's okay, but Nuss takes that role. Gesture, yes. Prophet, yes. Fury, and then Birdring. That roster then would be phenomenally powerful. LA Gladiators, I mean, they don't have Shawfor in at the moment, but they've got Hydration. He's not bad, right? They usually run with Hydration anyway, but they've got Asher in. You know, LA Gladiators is a pretty solid unit. So let's just take a look here at what London are trying to do before we get into this. So London have got Hureg because he's the Pharah specialist on the team. Rascal was the other one, but as we all know, Rascal is gone. So what they're going to do here is run a Pharah without a Mercy. So let's just see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. At least I believe they do. I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah, so we're going to go in. Oh, no, I think he swaps actually. Closer swaps to the Mercy, right, after the boost. Well, I confused myself. No, he doesn't. Yeah, he does stay with it. My notes were correct. I thought I was just losing my goddamn mind. Okay. So what we're looking at here is, this is just bad. Like, I don't know what Hagopen, I don't know what was going on there. He should not have died. He's dead. So, already, it's like we've got control of the point if we're LA Gladiators. This is fine. We don't have to do anything crazy. We can just spam them out through the chokes, through the bridge. Like, the thing with this map, if we just pause it here, if we look at this map is, phenomenal for Pharah to spam there, Pharah to spam there. She can control this area really, really well. The only way of dealing with Pharah of this kind of caliber is to bust out a Widow, right? Or just ignore the Pharah and just dive everybody else super hard so it's just the Pharah left. I mean, Hydration doesn't have a Mercy with him. So in a sense, they are kind of mirrored in terms of composition. In fact, they are identically mirrored in terms of composition. So really, there isn't any excuse for one team underperforming the other unless the other team just don't play as well. Get what I'm saying? All right, so this fight is it's all said and done here. London are sort of all over the place. Like, they've come in to try and keep the point alive. They're going to get pushed back here. Gesture gets killed, arguably through a major overextension, which he kind of had to do because he wanted to get control of the point. The rest of his team are not following in. Everybody's getting killed. And that's pretty much it. You would be expected that to happen there, given the control that LA got initially. That kill on Hagopen was huge. I don't know why he died there, but he did, and that was not great. All right, so what we're going to see here now is London attempt to recontest. There's no changes in comps, still the same thing. Farah's just spamming them from above, which is fine. You know, of course, this gives ultimate charge to the enemy, supports as well as to Farah, who's doing the damage. So London have, rotated around to the white room, and they're going to try and push from this way. What we're about to see is absolutely goddamn huge. So London push into the point. They are all pretty much come together. They've invested a bomb there. That's unlucky there that Hagopen didn't get the kill on Asher, but also it's equally unlucky that Asher didn't get the kill with the pulse bomb there onto Zen. If he did, the point's pretty much over. But notice what's happening here, right? Let's just pause this, because what we're about to see is completely, this is absolute godlike play of Hydration. What is happening here, though, right, is London, look at the percentage. London, they've given up 42% of this point. That is not great, right? They have not, to use a very English phrase, ladies and gentlemen, London have faffed around on the point, right, and not really done anything. They're just messing about, waiting for a time to go in. This is the worst time to go in, because Hydration is set up, ready to go, and Hydration is going to give them the big Pharah, I'm coming to just blow you away, big Pharah, big plays. Right, watch this. This is huge. Like, when I watch this, I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's a huge barrage. This, though, watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch it. It's about to come. The little boop. The little cheeky boop. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that is mega. Now, they've already won the fight, right? They've won the fight, whatever. He's just sort of, he's getting style points here. That, though, is huge. That, when players do that, do you know what makes me super happy when I see this? Because I'm like, that is a confidence thing. That tells me Hydration is just like, he's just really loving this game right now. He's like, hey, man, I'm going to just barrage, then I'm just going to go boom. That is huge. Like, that is absolutely huge. And, of course, this leaves London in absolute ribbons. Let's get rid of that off the screen. This leaves London in a bad way because, like, they've lost the ability to contest the point. Gesture commits suicide, needs to regroup. Everybody pulls back out. Now, this is danger territory for London because it's 64% on the point. You've got to win this next fight. If you don't, then it's getting really, really desperate. What tends to happen around 70% on this map is if you lose the fight, you probably won't get back as the whole team to contest again. So London's dilemma here is, what are we going to do? Well, Huyel's got a bomb, right? Let's not pause it. It's a bit of a mess. Let's pause it here. Because what's happening is London are committing a sound barrier to this fight. They are saying, we're going to sound barrier, we're going to push in. The thing is, I'm not entirely sure why they sound barriered then. Like, this is a weird one to me, because they sound barriered before the fight broke out, then pushed in. And it don't really seem to have got any kind of result from this. So let's just see how this plays out. So they're going into a corner. They trade 1 for 1. Then they grab the mech. So this is looking good for London, right? This means that Huyel doesn't have to invest his bomb unless he's about to lose his mech, right? So this is fine. London take the kills. Asher, though, look at what's happened in the background, right? This is Asher popping off. And Asher was popping off throughout this entire series, but he was doing this like in the background without people realizing. London should not have lost this fight. Asher has just gone, no, I'm just going to kill Prophet and closer. That's huge. Like, that is just absolutely gutted whatever London is capable of doing there. Of course, we've got Gesture's popped his primal rage. He gets a kill with it. Huyel's forced to drop his bomb, which he didn't really want to do because he wanted to keep that for the next fight. But he's had to waste it to get his mech back. So even though LA Gladiators lose the fight, they actually win the fight in a way because they get London to invest loads into that, which they didn't really need to do. They invested primal rage, sound barrier, diva bomb. It's like, that's huge. Look at what LA Gladiators have got coming up. They've almost got a barrage, but it doesn't really have too much else coming up. So you could argue against what I've just said and go, hey, you know what, Sty? Actually, it wasn't that bad. But I think, honestly, they didn't need to use those ultimates. And through the prolonged engagement there from LA, it did cause them to use them, and that's not great. Remember, a lot of Overwatch is generally about ultimate economy and making sure you're using them better than the enemy. So do I even need to pause this to show you what's going on? Like, while I was waffling all over that. Prophet got really close to getting a couple of kills there, but Hydration has just killed both supports for London. That, I can't explain how, like, you guys know, that is just horrifically devastating. You've got no supports. They're both dead. Like, how can that happen? Look at Hagopan. Look at his ultimate charge, right? His ultimate charge, he's basically got his ult, but he's dead. It's such a bad time to die as a Zen. But great playoff Hydration to get in there. It goes back to what I said about Hydration's little flick on the point, where he knocked off Hagopen with the concussion blast. That's a sign of a player just really comfortable. And that's what a lot of Overwatch is about. You've got to be mentally there and ready to play. LA Gladiators were mentally there and ready to play. I must say as well, the LA teams do have I don't want to call it an advantage, but they do have a great home crowd for every game they play in. So I really want to see those guys feed off that. And I think finally they kind of are. I do think, though, let's just pause this and go back to my full screen face. I do think, though, with LA Gladiators, the addition of Fisher is really huge for them. Because Fisher, like, I don't want to demean the other players on the team and go, oh, yeah, you needed a Korean tank, you know. What about iRemix? He's not getting played anymore because they've got Fisher. But what Fisher does is Fisher makes space for the other players to play. If you don't have that, then that stifles the DPS. That people like Asher, Hydration, they can't pop off. People like Shawfall, they can't pop off as much because they don't have a tank who's basically playmaking for them. I'm not saying that Fisher's a godlike player. I mean, he is a good player, don't get me wrong. He's like top 3 tanks. You could even argue top 2 tanks in the entire league. But he enables them to play. So I think putting him into the team was such a massive upgrade for that team. I honestly believe, you know, I've met Fisher. I know the guys from London. It was a good move for London because they weren't ever going to use Fisher, really. They've got Gesture. And arguably Gesture is as good or maybe a little bit better. Or you could say, hey, Fisher's as good or a little bit better. They're both very similar players. So you've only really got space for one. You don't really want to keep the other one just for when one of them gets ill. You get what I'm saying? Especially if you're a player, you're probably going to want to play. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa and this is Unit Lost. This has been Pro Overanalyzed. I hope you enjoyed the new format of this, and I hope you enjoyed the look at LA Gladiators versus the London Spitfire. And I hope you guys are enjoying Overwatch League, because I think... honestly, I genuinely just... I think I'm getting to the point now where I just enjoy Overwatch League more than like playing the game, which is really weird. Although I've noticed my play style is kind of changing. I'll play Overwatch for, a couple of games, whereas before I'd sit down and I'd play for like 2 or 3 hours solid. Now I'll just play for 3, 4 matches, and then I sort of come off, and yeah, it's not the same. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I've been Stylosa. This is Unit Lost. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Toodaloo.